What is up, everybody? Neil McDevitt here, and I am extremely excited for this brand new series. This is episode 1 of the Let's Build series. So basically what I'm going to do in this series is I'm looking at my business and I'm like, okay, here are some software applications that I want to build. And I'm basically building like a digital product ecosystem, and software is part of that ecosystem. So I'm like looking at a variety of different products that I can build, and I am building them. And I'm going to show you the process of building them on the YouTube channel. So basically, I have 3 roles for this series. Role number 1 is I am not allowed to solve problems or do anything myself. I have to use AI to do it for me. Rule number 2 is the episodes, I'm going to try to make them stay under 30 minutes to keep everybody's time nice and used in the best way possible. And then rule number 3 is every single app that we make in this series needs to be something that is productizable and monetizable. That way, the people viewing this series can get the most value possible out of watching the series. So basically, I'm going to start off with this first episode. It's mainly just going to be like me setting up the initial conditions and setting up the project and starting from there. And then the later episodes will get deeper and deeper and deeper into the actual final product itself, and then maybe even get into some growth tactics to help us scale the actual project. Okay, so if at any point you want access to any of the projects for free, if you want access to the code bases for free, join my premium community linked in the description below. It should say join USX or something like that. And it is the premium community. In that community, you can get access to all of the projects that I'll be working on from now to the foreseeable future completely for free. So the price to this community is currently extremely cheap. It is currently extremely cheap. The price will be going up soon. So go ahead and join it now. The price is going up soon. If you want to get locked in at this super cheap price, now is the time to join because, again, it'll be going up soon. But if you join now, you won't have to pay that premium price that is coming very soon. On the other hand, if you are somebody who is a complete noob and you're just a beginner and you just kind of want to join a free community where you can talk to other beginners who are starting in a similar position as you, I also have a free community linked in the description below for you as well. So join the communities. That being said, let's dive into the actual project itself. So basically what I've done so far is I have gone to ChatGPT and I basically used Whisperflow, which if you don't know what Whisperflow is, it's basically a tool that you can use where I can hold down a button on my keyboard and talk to my computer and it does things, right? Basically what it is. So what I'm building is something called Streamerflow. Now, this is a product for streamers to monetize their stream. We'll dive into the details on it a bit later, but I want to walk you through the actual thought process as to how I got where I am right now. And then we'll continue from there. So basically, I went to ChatGPT. Let me close this out real quick. I went to ChatGPT and I said, I held down my Whisperflow button. I talked to the computer and I pretty much told the computer what I want. I told it the product I want, the functionality, the features, the vision for everything. And we just kind of like talked back and forth. We hashed out the idea. We finally got to the point where we have a very similar vision that I agree with. And then I say, awesome. Then I go over here. I select the O3 model because that thing is savage. And I say, okay, given everything we just talked about, what is the best way of building this thing? Like at a high level, what is the best architecture? What is the best tech stack? And keep in mind, I need this to be as simple, as easy, as robust, and as effective as possible. I need it to be easy to build because I'm going to be using AI to build the entire thing from scratch. I don't want to do any of it myself. Now, the reason I do it like this is because it makes it super scalable. It makes it very easy for me to just push out software like crazy as the models get better. As the models get better and better and better, I'm just going to be able to, like any idea I have, I'm just going to be able to ship different products. It's going to be a lot easier as the models progress. Now, one thing I want to mention, if you look at the exponential scaling of these models, The only thing that matters, like, I don't care what the benchmarks say, I don't care what any people online say. The only thing that matters is the difference between the first and second derivative of the capabilities of the models. So, for example, a year or two ago, GPT-4, whatever, that model couldn't do shit. Now with Cursor and Gemini 2.5 Pro, I can actually build reasonably complex applications if I set up the initial conditions properly. If I set up the initial conditions properly, it can build pretty much the entire thing for me, and I just click next, next, next. That rate of improvement is insane. So the difference between the first and second derivative is all that matters because it's going to continue. And by next year, I mean, shit, man, we're just going to be like, the rate that you can generate ideas is the rate that you can generate products. And if you can generate really good ideas really quickly, and you build a digital product ecosystem, which is what I talk about on this YouTube channel. If that's a new concept to you, I recommend to subscribe. I build digital product ecosystems where you have a community, which is why I said join my communities, because I think communities are the future. And then you have a bunch of different things like software products, different types of products, a digital product ecosystem that is somewhat niched, but not too niched. It's somewhat broad, somewhat niched, but it's like around an area that you like to talk about, and you create an ecosystem of products around that. I think that is where we're heading right now, which is why I'm talking about the things that I'm talking about on this YouTube channel. So after that, obviously, we'll probably be going into like the physical world and building in the physical world. But for now, the world of bits, like the internet, the virtual world, still has so much demand. There is so much pent up demand that these tools are giving us the supply to fulfill. And now people like us, like, I'm not a software engineer, but now I can build software. Normal people can build software, and now they will have enough leverage to capture this pent up demand in the marketplace that we couldn't capture before because the supply was too low. I think this is the biggest opportunity of our time, or at least of the next decade, is digital product ecosystems, okay? So now that you have the vision in mind, let's actually dive into where I am right now. So again, I went to the AI, I got this stuff out of the AI. Basically, I told it the features, the functionality, it spits back everything to me. I get the architecture, it spits back everything to me. And then I have it create this big mega prompt. Now, basically, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to open a new folder, a new file, whatever. I'm going to open up my terminal first. Oops, that's not terminal. Open up terminal. I'm going to create a new folder. Make dir streamer flow. CD streamer flow. Cool. Now we're in streamer flow. We have the file streamer flow. We're going to open up streamer flow. We're going to select the folder, and here we are. Now, we just created, as we discussed a little bit ago, we just created this massive prompt for our AI agent. So that conversation that I mentioned that we were having earlier with the AI of like creating that really good vision with each other, that's basically what we're going to use to create the prompt. And then we have O3, make the prompt, we copy the prompt, we come over to the cursor or whatever you're using. I'm going to click add a file. I'm using Windsurf, so I'm going to do Windsurf roles, and I'm going to paste my roles, and I'm going to save this file. That way it has the roles. And now I'm going to start a new chat. I'm going to say, do you see the new roles? Now, basically, I just want to see if it is picking up what I'm laying down. I want to see if our vision is coherent. If we have a similar vision in mind, we're good. Cool. So, comprehensive mega prompt for streamer flow, blah, 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 blah. It understands directionally the goal. So now what we need to do is make sure that we have our MCP servers set up. So I'm going to come through my mega prompt that I didn't even create, the AI created for me. And I'm going to start to look for the tech stack, which is right here. So we have the tech stack right here. Let's keep looking. Superbase is part of the tech stack. And then we have whatever this is. And then we have Stripe. And then we have like the front end stuff. I don't really know what a lot of this stuff is. I know what Supabase is because that's the back end, that's the database. I know what Discord is. I know what Stripe is, and that's pretty much it. Now, I'm going to keep coming down here because somewhere it's going to tell me my environment variables, which is right here. Your env variables. So I'm going to go ahead and create this file. So I'm going to create a .env.local file. Now, to be honest with you, I barely know what this thing is. I just know that this is where my sensitive information goes. This is where my API keys and stuff go. And it wants me to put this stuff in there. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to paste it in here. Now, I have all of this stuff in there. I'm going to delete these little dots because those are stupid and I don't know. Oh, stop it. Okay. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. So I know what Supabase is and all of that. I don't need anything right now besides the backend stuff. The Stripe stuff, the Discord stuff, that's going to be later in the project. I don't even know what this really is, to be honest with you, which I'm going to get made fun of in the comments for that. Do it, please. I think it's funny. But for now, I know I need the Supabase URL because I'm going to use my MCP server, which let's actually set up the MCP server right now. So this little hammer on Windsurf is the MCP stuff. It looks like it's kind of already set up, but I need to make sure it's set up for my particular project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Supabase URL, the Supabase anon key, and I'm going to cut this part out because you actually don't need to know that information. And then I'll come back to you after I have that part set up. So if you don't know how to set up the Supabase MCP, you can just go to the Google and then type in Supabase MCP and then scroll down to either Cursor or Windsurf, whatever you're using, and then go to whatever your operating system is and then click copy. So for me, I'm just gonna, click on the good old little hammer, which I have already done. It looks like my thing might be already connected, but I'm just gonna double check. That being said, I will see you in a second. Cha-cha-cha-cha-chia. Okay, cool. Looks like we are all connected to the Supabase. So now it has my roles. It has the Supabase. Now I need to make sure this is a really important thing. So whenever I first started vibe coding and stuff, I wouldn't do this because I was like not aware that I needed to until I like started messing up. So my directory that I made is streamer flow. That's the directory that I'm in. This is going to be the main directory from which my application is built. So I'm going to say, cool, we are in the streamer flow directory. This is the subdirectory, or this is the main directory for this project. Keep the architecture layers at this level. Don't make a new app level directory for the project. This is the one we will be building everything from. I don't know why I'm typing this. This is so 2024 of me, but we are. Why is this still here? Get out of here. Cool. Awesome. Can you explain the vision of the project back to me? Certainly, based on the information you provided, Streamerflow is envisioned as a Discord integrated tier-based queue system designed for monetization of live Q&A sessions on platforms like Twitch, YouTube, X, Kick. Here's a breakdown of the core vision. monetization priority queue, fairness within, real-time transparency, upgrade capability, streamer control, MVP focus, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, Streamer Flow aims to streamline the monetization of live Q&A live streams while providing a clear and fair system for viewers who wish to participate. Does that align with your understanding? Absolutely. Absolutely. Make sure to stay aware of the architecture level as we are building. Cool. So now it is getting to do its stuff. What would we like to work on first? You tell me. Always defer to the AI. It knows better. At least knows better than I do. I don't know very much about this stuff. If just being genuinely honest. Like, the fact that people like me can build stuff now with software, it's kind of crazy. We'll just put it that way. Maybe the architecture that it laid out might not be the way we want it to. Is this the easiest way to lay out the architecture? Why don't we keep it all in the root level? See, I'm asking stupid questions, maybe, but I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to ask them anyways. A good practice for a project like Streamer Flow for several reasons, even at its early stage. Clear separation of concerns, improve maintainability and scalability, independent development. Okay. Okay. Make sure you do this in the simplest, the most effective way. Cool. So now it's going and doing stuff. What is it doing? Holy shit. What the hell did you just do, Windsurf? Error while editing. A bunch of times. Well, first, bro, you gotta make the directories or whatever, you idiot. Like, what are you doing? What the hell? That's a big fucking command, bro. Looks like here's our stuff. Run command. Bum 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 bum. You need to install the Supabase CLI. You can find the official installation instructions on Supabase documentation website. Typically, it involves using package manager like npm or downloading the binary. What the hell? I've never used a Supabase CLI. What the hell is a Supabase CLI? Is this it right here? Okay. Alright, let's try it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Paste anyways. Oops. Okay. I'm just gonna copy and paste this documentation because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I'm just gonna be like, you do it, bro. Let's see what it says. See, this is the cool thing. You don't have to be an engineer to build software. We're in some cool times. I need to install Scoop, eh? Well, cool. It's gonna install Scoop for me. I don't even know what Scoop is. Let's install it. See, this is the cool thing about AI is whenever you give it an idea for an application, it can search through its data distribution for like the standard way of building this thing. So the conversations I've had up here where I was kind of silent a little bit, and I might have even like cut out the conversations that we were having up here, right here with the mono repo and all that good stuff. Like, I don't really know what a mono repo is. I've Googled it before, so I have an idea of what it is. I obviously don't know how to build one. But basically, I had some conversations with the AI to figure out like what's going on. And the cool thing is, since I like laid out the concept of the product pretty well, and I had the O3 model lay it out to like a sufficient degree, further than I can lay it out. Let's just put it that way. And then I use that for my my windsurf rules right in here. Since I have this like good structure, it can search within its data distribution. The AI models can search within their data distribution to find the best ways of doing whatever it is that we're doing here. So there's like usually a standard operating procedure for any particular thing you're trying to do. And for the thing that we're trying to do, it can like identify, okay, what is the best way to build a project like this? Given the semantic values of the text that I use to explain the project, it will use those semantic values to identify the other semantic values that attach to it. And it'll say, okay, this is the best way of doing this, given the context that we have. And yeah, that's pretty amazing. Because now I don't know what I'm doing, but this AI model, the world's knowledge that is extremely distilled into this neural network, can search within its parameter space to find the best protocol for the problem that I'm trying to solve and just plug it in, which is pretty amazing that that's what we can do right now. What the cool thing is that it can do that. Another cool thing is it doesn't actually replace the creativity of the human, because it's searching within a space of parameters for a thing that already exists. It can't really create novelty, while the prompter, the human, can use the AI to create novel things. The AI itself can't, like, from one prompt, like, create novelty. Like, say, I can't go to the AI and say, hey, create a novel software application for this. Maybe it'll create something that's relatively novel, but it's like the novelty and the usefulness is something that it's not very good at least for now. Maybe it will be one day. It's definitely not there today. Try to... Why does it always do this, man? Just like stays on running after it runs a command. Keep going. Come on, bitch. Okay, excuse me. Keep going. But yeah, the cool thing is the idea generation, the creativity of the human. Those are the things where we still have alpha over this technology. And actually, it might be that we always have alpha over the technology in those realms. Because if you look at like machine learning, that's what we have right now. I think, to me, this was my definition. This stuff fits my definition of AGI. And then there are some people out there that have like very crazy definitions of AGI. For me, this fits my definition of AGI. And many people would call what we have right now just scaled up machine learning, which I agree. Like a lot of the philosophical definitions of AGI, I just don't think are going to happen ever. We have scaled up machine learning, and as you scale up machine learning, it just keeps getting better at the things that machine learning is good at. Like it's not that LLMs are doing things that previous machine learning has never been able to do. It's just like doing more of the things that machine learning was already good at. So let's use an example. Let's use stock trading. Stock trading has very simple rules. Buy or sell. Those are the rules. And based off of the data that is compressed within the value of a stock, whether it's just the price value or whatever, based on the data that is compressed within that value, and if you give it a sufficient history of that data, the AI model can choose to buy or sell by trying to predict the next output of the stock. That's what machine learning does. Now let's use the case for protein folding. The parameter space of the rules are very simple. For protein folding, there are simple rules, and then the complexity of the proteins emerge from these very simple rules. So you have the goal of the AI is to accurately predict the next protein. So it's yes or no, kind of similar to the buy or sell. It's a very deterministic outcome. And then the parameter set or the initial rules for the prediction are what allows the model to actually be accurate. So for something like the physical world and trying to let's use the case of building a true AGI level system that is an entrepreneur and can outcompete humans and creating art, creating novelty, and doing all of these different things as an autonomous individual in the physical world. The parameter space, the space of rules, doesn't exist. It's just like the laws of physics, which are extremely broad. And then humans create these like constructs of organizations and these constructs of society and economics and what the humans found valuable for other humans. And the parameter space of rules is so broad that machine learning can't actually capture the proper way of doing things. What does that mean? The AGI, that philosophical assumption of AGI that many people have, probably won't happen. The scaled up machine learning, which is what we have right now, and that's what I'm using, will happen. So, like building software. One second. Keep going. So building software like I'm doing right now. Usually with software, there's like simple rules. There's like a standard protocol of how to build software. There's like a best way of doing things. There's like the best practices of building software. Now, whenever I give it the context of the project I want to build, there's the best practices that it uses to build the software that I want. And it applies those best practices with the idea that I have. And then it runs the code and it says good job or bad job. It's a very deterministic outcome. This is something that machine learning can be trained to do accurately. On the other hand, something that's like being an entrepreneur where the problem space is almost infinitely broad, like every single one of us as humans has $1 billion or potentially $1 trillion opportunity sitting under our nose at all times. The entrepreneurs are the ones who are artists who can find those things. It's not that there's like a procedure to doing something like that. It's that the entrepreneurs are effectively like these artists, and they can just have this like intuition that others can't have. If there was like a protocol or like a science or simple rules to being able to do it, you would think there would be a lot more extremely successful people in the world. But they're just like, there's just like a handful, right? So we have to use Docker. That's lame. I hate Docker. Go. So I think we're just going to continue to scale up machine learning, and it's going to do more of what it's good at, and it's not going to do any more of what it's bad at. That's my take. A lot of the philosophical AGI isn't coming. We will have very powerful AI, but it's going to be good at what it's good at and bad at what it's bad at. And it's just going to continue to be that way. That's my bet, at least. What? Okay. Tell me the commands then. Bro. I'm pretty sure I already have Docker installed. How do I tell if it's installed? Bom, 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 bom. Is there not a command? This thing's annoying, dude. There you go. What do you know? There is a command, you idiot. Alright, I'm going to try to run it in my own personal terminal. It might be that I have to do it that way. Come on now. Hello? I'm pretty sure I copied this. Okay. Looks like we're going to have to install Docker. We might have to wrap up the stream here, or the video here. Because I do not have Docker installed, apparently, even though I'm pretty sure I installed it. Let's see. Let's ask the ChatGPT model. Let's get a little action going. How do I install Docker? I'm pretty, yeah, I already have WSL2. I have WSL2. Let's see if that makes any differences. That's so annoying, dude. I already installed Docker, man. That's stupid. I guess I'm doing that one. Oh, it's so annoying, man. Just complaining and complaining. I've literally done this multiple times. See? It already exists. Yeah, I'll replace it. So, I have a funny story or history with Docker. There's been multiple times where I've tried to install this thing and it just hates my computer. It doesn't install. I've literally spent 8 hours one day just trying to like uninstall and reinstall Docker because it wasn't working. So, hopefully this fixes the problem. We will see. There's a, oh, what? There's a Docker MCP server now? Okay. This might not be too bad. As long as Docker installs on my machine properly. I'm down to use Docker as long as there's an MPC or MCP or whatever. But back to like the the philosophical talk of AI and why I think we're gonna have scaled up machine learning and not like the AGI that many people like fantasize about is, well, kind of some of the reasons I mentioned. Also, like computational irreducibility. There's just like certain things in the universe that we're not going to be able to compute, no matter how much compute we have. If you don't know what computational irreducibility is, I recommend to look up Stephen Wolfram. So there's that, and then I think that it's very important to realize these things so that we understand how we should be indexing our time. Because there's like, Peter Thiel talks about this a lot. There's like the person who's like overly optimistic, and then there's the person who's overly pessimistic. And neither of these people get anything done because the pessimistic person is like, why would I do anything? Why don't I just sit here and not do anything because I'm never going to be able to do anything? And then the optimistic person is like, oh, everything's going to just happen automatically. So I might as well grab popcorn and watch. And it's probably better to be somewhat optimistic, but you also want to index towards the middle where it's like, okay, well, things are going to happen, but only if somebody makes them happen. So why don't I be the person who makes them happen? And if we realize that, I mean, there's always going to be some form of hierarchy in nature, always going to be some form of hierarchy in nature, meaning the distribution of resources among humans is always going to be somewhat skewed towards a class of people that do more than the other person or the other class. You might as well start taking action instead of just sitting here eating popcorn and hoping the singularity saves us all. Right? So, yeah, I think that's an advantageous way of doing things. I'm going to have to probably start this or stop this stream to install this. Let's see how this works. Let's see. Maybe not. What do you know? All right. Okay. Now, let's see if this does things properly. Because last time I tried to do this, this is where I fucked up and it wouldn't work. I wonder how much time we have left. Okay. We're going to be probably... Okay. We're probably going to be cutting the video pretty soon here. We're getting the initial setup done, which is mainly what we wanted to talk about in this video. And we also talked about some other stuff, like philosophical things of AI, because that stuff is kind of important to understand in order to make good decisions about the future. But the big thing we wanted to get out of the way is setting up the initial conditions for the project. Because that's the big thing whenever you're using AI to build software, is the initial conditions. If your initial conditions aren't set up correctly, it's going to be extremely hard to use just AI to build software. If your initial conditions are set up the way I told you, and the way we covered in this video, no way, it worked. Wow. Cool. Okay. It's installed. But yeah, if your initial conditions are set up properly, and kind of how we went over in the video, it's going to make doing everything a whole lot easier. Bruh. I just installed it. What do you mean it's not recognized? And then your AI is just going to be able to do everything. And you're just going to be able to sit here and just kind of like, whenever shit like this pops up, you handle the situation. Yeah. What the hell, man? I'm going to copy that, paste it in the old terminal. What are you talking about? I literally installed it, bro. Okay, maybe I gotta set it up like this first. Oh, shit. Bruh, what? Okay. Proceed to Dosker desktop. Dosker. Skip. Alright, let's try this shit again. Bruh. Alright, so when in doubt, take a screenshot and upload it to the fucking AI because I don't know what I'm doing and it does. It's installed, bitch. Ta-da! Tell me what to do. See, it's not even there, man. What's going on? I gotta restart the computer. Alright, I guess we're gonna end the video here, guys. So this is episode 1 of the series. Obviously, we're gonna have more episodes because we didn't get very far. We just kind of like set up the initial conditions, and the AI is telling us what to do, and we're just doing it. and we're also telling the AI what to do, and it's just doing it. It's a symbiotic relationship, you already know. But yeah, on part two, we should have kind of like the basic structure of the app laid out. I'm going to pick up in part two from where we left off here so that you can follow along. And yeah, we're going to go all the way to the deployment of the app and then even some growth strategies and all of that good stuff. Because I'm not really good at the software engineering part, I rely on the AI for that. What I'm really good at is the marketing part because I used to have a marketing agency, and between all of my clients and myself, we've spent over millions and millions of dollars on advertising. So that's the stuff that I'm good at, is like growing things, not necessarily doing the actual building. I'm good at the idea generation. I'm good at understanding what is monetizable. I'm good at understanding products and moats and all that stuff. Not the best at doing the coding. Let's just put it that way. But that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. I will see you guys in the next episode. Hopefully, you thought this was valuable and entertaining. The next episode, we'll dive in from where we left off, and we will continue to execute from there.